Hey guys, I want to go ahead and show you some modifications or just how to put some of these guns back together in case you do take them apart for any reason. Whenever I'm painting these, I take them apart just so that I can do a really nice job of painting them. So this was kind of like a sparkle green color that I had, so I went ahead, took everything apart, and the Glock 18 that I had was broken, so I just got rid of that gearbox, and now I'm going to go ahead and put a different one back in. This is actually from an Anstoy Desert Eagle. They're the same gearboxes in the Desert Eagle and the Glock 18. However, there's some different connections. And typically I would just solder right onto here, but I wanted to show you guys a video using heat shrink because not everyone has a soldering gun, but heat shrink is very accessible. You could use a lighter if you needed to, but you can also use like a little butane torch like this from Lexivon, and that allows you to use heat shrink too. So this is kind of a little more easier way for people who don't necessarily have soldering experience, and you should still be pretty good if you're using these type of heat shrink tubes and you've got good solder points that were already there. So it should work out fine. Of course, I will say soldering is ideal, but like I said, not everyone has that. So, all right, so we got the Glock 18 here. You'll notice a couple different parts, like the trigger has a spring here. This piece has a spring here as well. So you just want to make sure not to lose those when you're taking it apart, because you know they are pretty unique sizes and they go back on in, you know, a pretty specific way. So again, these gearboxes are, you can open them, but they're not really intended to be opened and serviced. So I do not advise it. It's probably not worth it. The other thing with this one is this is the battery release button that goes in here, but you have to go ahead and put this piece in kind of at the same time, and this will slide in to here, and then you push kind of the button down on top of it. I've got it flipped over, so that's why I'm struggling. So we're just going to go ahead, get this in. So that's how you would want to put that in. Now I always double check, even though I've done this a lot. You want to make sure that it's going in properly. So take pictures if you don't have a working Glock 18 around, because you just want to make sure that that piece goes in right. Otherwise, the battery won't fit when you slide. Okay, so pretty straightforward there. So I've got some heat shrink tubing. This is from the brand Grip. You can find a lot of their stuff on Amazon. Grip makes all kinds of tools and accessories. So this is their tubing assortment. Gives us a lot of different sizes. I end up using the little ones a lot on any interior stuff in here. And then I can use those sometimes on some of the exterior battery packs and stuff that I build that are rail mounted. So I'm actually going to cut this in half. I don't think I need the whole thing. All right, and in this case, your yellow is going to connect with your red, and then your black is going to connect with your black. So a lot of times you're just going to go red to red, black to black, but in this case, it's a little different. So with these, I find, again, if you're using heat shrink and you don't have a soldering gun, you just twist these together really good. And then we're going to put the piece of the heat shrink tube over the top and shrink it down onto this. And then you should have a good protected connection that's not going in. Okay. Yes, soldering is always best. So no need to leave that in the comments, because I am in agreement. I'm just showing you guys a different way to do it. So once you get the tubing on there, again, you can use like this butane torch here from Lexivon. This is the LX771. Pretty straightforward how to use these. They got some nice safety features built in. But you're just going to go ahead and... So they do make a little attachment that you can probably do this in a little better way with it standing up and a little heat deflector attachment, but it's not really necessary if you're just trying to go fast. So, all right, so we got that on there. Should be good to go. So that's how you can use heat shrink, use a little torch, or if, like I said, if you don't have a little butane torch like this, you can even use a light to get that heat shrink. So ideally, you've got a soldering iron, but if you don't, that's one way to make a connection with this. And then you also got to see the inside of a Glock 18 from Anstoy. So hopefully some of you guys see that as helpful. Typically, issues that you see with this gun are going to be loose connections on the inside if it stops working. If you're trying to fire it and you can hear some kind of sound, a motor sound where it doesn't sound right, then you're talking about there's some issues with the gears inside, and it's most likely going to be dead at that point. But if it's just the batteries in, you're getting nothing at all, 99% of the time, that's a loose connection on the inside that's easily fixed. So I hope you guys find that helpful.